When we think about what makes a business successful, our minds usually jump to things like sales, marketing, or maybe some game-changing innovation. But what if I told you there's another engine, just as powerful, working quietly behind the scenes? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that hidden powerhouse. So let me just start with a question. What if you could find a single lever in your company that could add 10% or even more to your profits year in and year out? I know, it sounds almost too good to be true, but trust me, it's not. And that lever, it's called procurement. Now, I can almost hear what some of you are thinking. Procurement, isn't that just buying stuff? And yeah, for a lot of companies, that's all it is. But that's a massive, massive missed opportunity. We're about to see how strategic procurement is actually one of the most powerful tools you can have for financial success. Okay, so let's get a really clear definition on the table. We're not talking about a simple shopping trip here. Procurement is a managed process. It's not random. It's this delicate balancing act. You've got to get the right quality at the right price, delivered at the right time, and this part is absolutely crucial. You have to control for risk. It's a whole discipline. And this really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. It's about a fundamental shift in how you think. It's about taking procurement from being just another tactical task on a checklist and turning it into a real strategic powerhouse for the entire organization. And you can see the two mindsets laid out right here. On the left, you've got traditional buying. It's totally reactive. Something breaks, you buy a new one. It's all about price, it's transactional, and it's super short term. But on the right, that's the strategic approach. It's proactive. It's focused on total value, not just the sticker price. And it's all about building long-term relationships. One is a chore, the other is a serious competitive weapon. All right, so we've covered the what. Now for the really important part, the so what. How does all this strategic thinking actually translate into cold, hard cash? Let's get into the proof. Here it is. This is the number that should make every single business leader sit up and pay attention. Study after study confirms that companies with mature, well-run procurement programs save between 6 and 12% every single year. This isn't some one-time fluke. It's the consistent, repeatable result of having a smart system. So where does all that saved money go? This is the beautiful part. It's not just about cutting costs. Every single dollar you save in procurement is a dollar of pure profit. It goes straight to the bottom line, boosting your company's profitability in one of the most efficient ways imaginable. Now, this all sounds great in theory, right? But let's look at a company that has absolutely mastered this, a company that has turned procurement into a science, Walmart. Their approach to strategic sourcing is pretty much legendary, and it gives us a fantastic blueprint for how this works in the real world. So how in the world do they do it? Well, their super complex strategy can really be boiled down into three main ideas. First, they use these centralized supplier portals, which basically forces everyone to compete on a level playing field. Second, they demand total price transparency, no fuzzy math, no hidden fees. And third, they focus on building collaborative, long-term contracts. It's not about squeezing their suppliers for every last penny. It's about creating these super efficient, predictable partnerships. And the results? Well, it's exactly what we all know Walmart for, those consistently low prices. But, and this is just as important, it's also about what you don't see, a supply chain that is incredibly resilient and reliable. They get the best price without sacrificing continuity. And that, right there, is strategic procurement in action. Okay, let's wrap this all up. What are the key things to remember here? What principles can you take away from this to start unlocking your own strategic advantage, whether you're at a huge corporation or a tiny startup? It really comes down to these three things. First, you have to start thinking of procurement as strategic, not just a series of one-off transactions. Second, you've got to create documented processes. This ensures you get consistent wins, not just lucky breaks now and then. And finally, and I can't say this enough, never, ever forget. Every dollar saved is a dollar of pure profit. It's one of the most direct ways to a healthier, more successful business. So there you have it. Procurement, one of the most powerful yet overlooked engines in business. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. If there's this much potential just sitting there, dormant in how a company buys things, what other hidden engines could be waiting to be discovered inside your own business, ready to power your success?